Hi, I'm Tom Waite from GundogTrainer.com, and today we're going to talk about wool breaking and the proper way of doing it with the electronic collar. As you saw in our other videos earlier in the series, we use the electronic collar on the neck and collar condition the dog for basic obedience commands. Today we're going to show you with the pointing dogs how we teach the wool command with proper use of electronics. This is Bailey. She's a 6-month-old Gordon setter. Gordon setters by nature are typically a little softer and can be a little harder to deal with. So this is a dog that I can't afford to have an issue in training with early on by using a technique that she's not going to move ahead with. When putting the collar on the dog's belly, which is what we're going to do, we take the collar, we make sure it's on obviously. Come here, Bailey. We put it around her waist between her rib cage and her hips. We administer it this way, and then we make sure that it's snug when we put it on. We don't want it tight. We don't want it loose, because as is the case when conditioning, as you saw on the neck, and I had said if the collar isn't snug on the dog's neck, as is this case with the dog's belly, the dog isn't going to get the proper stimulation. Now what you may see when you put the belly collar on these dogs, especially early on, is what I call the rodeo effect. It looks like a horse at the rodeo. They're not accustomed to having the pressure on their belly. They're not accustomed to it being there, so the dog may jump around and act goofy. It's all part of the conditioning. It's all part of the process. This dog is very soft and easygoing, and she's not showing any effect to it. I could put it on a dog that's a little wilder and bounces around a little more, and it might do jump around, hop around, flip around, land on its side. The dog isn't getting hurt. There's no pain involved with it. It's just uncomfortable for the dog having it on her belly. In this case, you can see by her tail set, her tail's down, she's unsure what's going on. Not having the collar on her belly before and having this process done, she's not exactly sure what this means. Now, being she's been through the first series of 15-minute videos, and she understands what the collar means on her neck, for here, for heel, this is a whole different end of the game. Now, typically you don't train anything but the pointing dogs with the wool command. It's not typically a command you're going to use with retrievers or spaniels because it doesn't really serve a purpose. With the pointing dogs, the wool command and having the collar on her belly is a stand-stay. You'll see as we go on, as I administer pressure, the dog's body bumps away from the stimulation, in essence making her stand up and keeps her from sitting down, but also kind of locks up the gears in the back end so she has to stop. What we do is we give the dog the pressure as we did on the neck, but in this case, we want to give the dog the pressure until she stops. When she plants all 4 feet, then we release the pressure of the collar. Once again, I go down to the bottom of my collar, the lowest setting, and I'm on number 1. We're going to start number 1 with continuous stimulation. We're going to let her walk around a little. She's smelling where there have been birds and other things out here. We're going to kind of make sure that she's kind of loose doing this. Now, when we conditioned the dog with the collar on the neck, we were happy if the dog had its mind and its what it wanted to do elsewhere. Its attention didn't need to be on us. When we're doing the wool command and starting it, the dog has to have her mind on us. We want her to acknowledge what we want. We give a little visual with the hand to show the dog that, hey, this is supposed to mean you're supposed to stop and stand. But notice she's smelling around, checking things out. She isn't at this point ready to be stimulated and put to work. Once we get her attention, it'll be a whole nother story. Here we go. We let her get her attention. Hey. Now notice the wind is kind of blowing in front of her. She smells everything else going on. A young dog is very easy to get sidetracked. So don't be afraid if your dog's not paying attention to you at all when you're doing this. That's why we've got the check cord. The glorious check cord that we keep the dog from getting out of, kind of our work zone here. Come here, girl. Here. I get her attention, whoa. Stimulator, whoa. She stops. Notice I back away. She plants all 4 feet. The pressure's turned off. Whoa. I release her. Okay, good girl. She moves ahead. Good dog. Notice I'm not calling her to me. I'm allowing the dog to be released because I don't want her to think every time she comes off of the wool command that she has to come back into heel or come to me. Now her tail's wagging a little. All of a sudden her mind is starting to say, hey, I'm in a work mode here. Now I've got to start paying attention. Get her attention. Whoa. Stimulate. She stops. Acknowledges the collar there. but understands that once she plants all 4 feet, the pressure is off.